Hello, my name is Dane Parcel, and this is my ePortfolio video submission for my comprehensive exam. I am currently a special education teacher for USD 480 in Liberal, Kansas. I've been teaching for the past 15 years, all of which have been within the Liberal School District. I began as a classroom teacher, and then about 5 years into that, I received my master's degree from Emporia State University and moved into the special education field. I am also the Seward County Community College Introduction to Education course instructor, and as you can see through my resume, I have received several honors and certifications, as well as been a part of multiple professional development and leadership teams. In terms of goals, I have multiple goals. I'm a very goal-oriented person, but when I divide them to professional and personal goals, my professional goals that I most want to highlight go along with my school redesign. This is my most immediate professional goal, is to support my school district as we implement our redesign initiatives and programs that we have done research on the past year. In addition, I want to complete certification within the next few weeks, hopefully, for this course and certification, and then eventually want to use a certification to become an assistant principal for the school district of Liberal, and then to eventually move into an assistant director or director of special education role in the far future. Personal goals, I want to go ahead and finish off my student loan, as well as take a personal vacation once this school year does get over. And then in the far future, to eventually move out of my apartment into a house and become debt-free. As I look through the program of study section, it was a non-degree endorsed student, so I did not take as many classes as those that are taking their master's. One of my favorite classes was the Introduction to School Administration from Dr. Irwin. This really helps set a foundation for this coursework, and I really enjoyed getting to do some of the activities that were relative to becoming an administrator. One of my other courses that I enjoyed was School Law with Dr. Gooch. She was very knowledgeable about the content and really interacted with me throughout each of the different activities and my submissions, and I really enjoyed getting to learn from her. As you can see, I did take several different courses this summer, something I did not necessarily want to do, but I really wanted to also complete that testing certification, and so I felt like I wanted to have as much coursework behind me before I did that, and so I did do some heavy courses this summer. One of the activities that I did for my administration, entered a building level administration, was my leadership philosophy. I've kind of carried this philosophy with me ever since I was in high school. There was a man by the name of Bill Cordes that came and presented, and he gave us the term yoga whippy. You only get out what you put in. And I wholeheartedly believe that if you give 110% effort in what you do, you're going to get 110% results. And I really feel like that is going to be my leadership philosophy, that I'm going to put in the effort that's needed to be successful, for my school to be successful. Some of the additional things that I lead by in terms of characteristics is, number one, I lead by example and good character. And I also lead by allowing others to have opportunity to advance themselves while also celebrating them along the way. In terms of other characteristics that I value in other people, is be a good sense of humor, just to keep the environment lighthearted, to be a teamwork, and then to be goal-oriented. Some expectations for myself and others that are working with me is to have open communication, and then just to be solution oriented, where we're not focused on just problems, but we are understanding that we need to figure out answers to those problems as well. The next section kind of talks about the activities that I completed. The first one is the annotated bibliographies, and I wanted to really showcase two annotated bibliographies within this, and I opened it up on a bigger screen. The first one was an examination of K-5 principle time and tasks to improve leadership practice. And I chose this article to highlight because I wanted to really let you know that as a reader, I was fully into this article, identifying the different roles and responsibilities that I will need to complete as a principal, but also understanding that I will need to identify those that are high time consuming tasks and those that are low time consuming tasks, and being able to juggle that, being able to be effective throughout each day. The other article I wanted to highlight was just above this one, but it kind of goes into conjunction with the first one, and that's Principals Perceived Relationships with Emotional Intelligence, Resilience, and Resonant Leadership Throughout Their Career. I chose this article because I felt like the relationship between having multiple duties and wearing multiple hats as a building level shows the importance to be emotionally intelligent as a building leader, to be able to know when to take a step back, to provide that self-care for yourself so that you can lead your staff and your faculty to the best of your ability and improve student success as well. As you can see in my activity forms, I did hopefully complete the required number of activities and the required number of hours. I really tried to focus my activities not necessarily on a lot of activities that I did throughout my coursework, but in the activities that I did in my 150 hours of time. I wanted to take that 150 hours and put it directly towards getting that exactly what principals do, and not necessarily on time spent creating things. And so, with that said, I really enjoyed getting to do a lot of the activities for each of the different levels. My main focus was on the elementary level, but I'll just focus and highlight a few of the other second district and secondary tasks are important to me as well. So at the district level, I wanted to definitely highlight this activity called the Admin Council. For this activity, I was able to meet with other administrators for USD 480. This meeting was ran by our director of elementary education, where she got to talk with each of the principals as a group setting. The principals got to collaborate on things such as the KESA documentation and being able to complete that documentation for the district so that we could complete the documentation as the district level type information. This meeting was very informational and really opened my eyes to the fact that there's lots of things that they do that classroom teachers don't. And this really opened my eyes to that. One of the other activities that I did at the district level that I'm most excited to share with you is my recruitment opportunity at Northwestern Oklahoma State University. Having graduated at Northwestern, I wanted to take the opportunity to go with a couple other administrators and kind of recruit teachers. And so I was able to kind of shadow them, learn from them, listen to them as they recruited a couple teachers. And then I had the opportunity to talk to teachers, or prospective teachers myself, trying to bring them into the USD 480 family, as well as encourage them to at least give us an opportunity. At the secondary level, one of my favorite activities was cross country at Arkalin Park, and I chose this activity to highlight for you today because I really believe it shows the collaboration between the school system as well as the city of Liberal. The cross country meet is held at Arkalin Park, which is owned by the city, and the assistant principals at the middle schools also act as athletic directors for the school. So I worked with the assistant principal and kind of went out there with her to work in partnership with the groundskeeper from Arkalin Park, and we finished setting up the course. We finished setting up some of the additional things that we needed to do, such as parking issues and some of the things that kind of behind the scenes activities. And then I also got to then experience the race itself and hand out medals at the end. So that was kind of an exciting thing for me to do. One of the other activities that I really enjoyed doing at the secondary level was a CPI refresher. Earlier this school year, I became a CPI trainer for the district, which is something that some of our administrators do. And so they gave me the opportunity to become certified as a trainer. And as a result, then I took that information and became a trainer for some of the secondary special education teachers and paraeducators. as they provided as I provided them a CPI refresher, and being able to model and practice the established practices, ethical practices that are necessary when emergency safety interventions are put into place. At the elementary level, one of my favorite activities was a haircut and hot dog night. I just felt like this activity really showcased our correlation with each other, with multiple different stakeholders, as we were school, community, families, all in one big event. So that was very nice. One of my other favorite activities was being able to broadcast on the radio and showcase our school, our upcoming events to others. And it was very interesting to be on the radio. And then the last activity that I wanted to just kind of present to you was also works with another activity found in my elementary activities, and that is trauma informed. I was able to go with another individual to a trauma informed training presented by Dr. Cindy Blasey from Derby Public Schools. And we were able to learn many of the characteristics of being trauma informed. And then together, me and, as you can see, Miss Rivas came and brought this PowerPoint back, which we created this PowerPoint ourselves. We brought this information back to our teachers and presented it over multiple days, and on how to incorporate trauma-informed strategies into the classroom. And this year, we see multiple different classrooms with calming corners and multiple classrooms doing mindfulness. So one of the things that also came about this is I had the opportunity to then go see Dr. Blasey's school in Derby, and I brought that back, and that is also additional activity within this section. As you can see through my administration verification, I did complete the activities at all of the different levels. Here's my elementary district, and then secondary level certification. And so that kind of leads me to the last section, and that's my reflection. When I first started this coursework, I had very similar ideas and thoughts that I'm sure most other potential candidates had. And that was, can I do this with a full-time job? What is the requirements going to be, the expectations? And I really, after taking my first course, I really felt like I think I can do this. And the Introduction to Education course was just a great foundation for me and just helped me become more knowledgeable about what it's going to take to become a building level. What I found most troublesome was just learning about the different technologies, because I had never heard of things such as a Powtoon and a PictoChart. And so I almost found myself learning those a lot more than the content, because I'm a pretty heavy perfectionist. And so once I had those down, then the future classes kind of came a little bit easier. I especially really liked how the format from all the classes stayed the same. And I also liked how the program really required each activity to then have the program standard placed into it. So the thing that I came across in terms of my conjecture was, since I have such an elementary focus, can I still be an effective building leader? And in my research of this conjecture, I really felt like an effective teacher is an effective teacher. Good teaching is good teaching. And so I really didn't see a lot of additional information that separated secondary and elementary principals and how they're effective at each level, but I took it as a cumulative thing that effective principals at one level could be effective at another level. And in my additional research, I really kind of looked a little bit more in terms of other characteristics, and I found turnaround principles and how turnaround principles get into schools. As you can see, they're defined as professionals that makes a quick and dramatic change. They get into schools and they have to have different mindsets than others. They have to have two sets of mindsets that have to be effective, but they also now have the time frame that they need to be effective. And ultimately, I really came down to the conclusion that I think principals just need to be continuously supported and by their districts, and anybody can then be successful no matter what their experience is at. I hope you have enjoyed my portfolio, and I look forward to presenting it to you in the near future. Thank you.